Happy New Year, Pet Avengers. This is Valerie Heffron. Sorry about that. I just got married and I'm not used to saying that yet. Anyway, good morning. It is January 3rd, 2021 at 11:15 a.m. And my name is Valerie Heffron. I am representing this group called Voters for Voiceless. We are a political action group and we're here to support or oppose candidates based on what they do for the animals. I have to tell you guys something. I have been reluctant to come forward with the information I'm about to provide here and go over. The reason is, first of all, I don't like losing. And unfortunately, you'll see what I'm talking about. But after about 3.5 years of sincere, good faith and hard effort, very strong efforts, we have nothing to show for our work. And that leads me to the next thing, which is, the one thing I hate more than losing is wasting my time. And, you can never get it back. And I think 2020 especially, it was a very pronounced year for everyone in terms of how precious everyone's time is. And I don't like wasting my time or finding out that my time was wasted, which is what happened here. So let's dive in. So the town of Hempstead had an area called the landfill. It has an area called the landfill in Oceanside. Many of you are familiar with the fact that there was a very large colony of cats, 38 cats there to be exact, that was cared for by a former employee. And then 6 months after he retired, his name is Mr. Stanley Lombardo, he always continued throughout that time to feed and provide water and care for the cats, make sure they had shelters. And then one day they decided to lock him out and tell him that he was no longer allowed to be on that property or he would be subject to arrest. So this is how I originally got started and involved in paying attention to local government, because I had never realized before that animal welfare is 100% political. So sadly, that gentleman was never reunited with his cats. To this day, the landfill remains closed to the public, which it never was prior to this incident. So I was determined to get something positive out of this horrific situation accomplished. I wanted to make an impact that would benefit the animals in some way. So what happened was, at this point in time, this is early 2018, unfortunately, the new supervisor, her name is Laura Gillen at that time, she had promised to help the animals. She had promised to reunite Mr. Lombardo with his cats. And she never did. So that was just another big disappointment. This is what happens. I'm finding, these politicians promise to help the animals and then they don't, and they get the animal vote and then they don't come through. And this has to change. And this is why I'm telling you this story. So what happens next is out of a sense of urgency and maybe desperation, because I realized that Laura Gillen was not going to be working with us to help to benefit the animals, I approached Councilman D'Esposito. Now, Councilman D'Esposito, the Oceanside landfill is in his district. Okay, so I saw him. It was a spur of the moment thing. I saw him by the elevators and I said, Councilman, I'm not your enemy. Can we please work together? Let's get something good going, positive out of this horrific situation. The landfill is in your district. And he said, call my office and we'll have a meeting. So I did, and we did. This is April of 2018. The next thing I know, we had another meeting. We went to the landfill with myself and his assistant and also one of the deputy town attorneys. We discussed trying to convert the landfill into something for the cats, perhaps a sanctuary, or perhaps, you know, a place where there could be a mobile, a satellite TNR location. Unfortunately, that was kind of, we were deterred because there's some environmental issues that we were basically told the grounds there wouldn't be appropriate for that. Okay, fine. So now we reroute, and I want to be clear on this. Diane Madden was also an integral part of these conversations, and she was very, very up to speed on what we could do, what we, you know, what we can get accomplished, grants, etc. So the next thing I know, it's now May of 2018, and we're moving right along. I'm happy with the pace. And we met at Oceanside Park in Oceanside also. And what happened there was, it was Memorial Day weekend. Here it is. This is May 26, 2018. It was a Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I remember vividly, you know, being excited because, look, this was my birthday weekend. It was easy. It would have been very easy for me to say, oh, I can't make it. But you know what? When something's important to you, right, you rise to the bell. So here we are. This is Matt. This is Councilman D'Esposito. This is Matt is his assistant. Super nice guy, by the way. And this is Donna. Donna is a terrific advocate, a big time cat lover, trapper. She does spay neuter. Anyway, so here we are in Oceanside Park. As you can see, there's a large stretch of land, a lot of litter too. But anyway, large stretch of land here. And if memory serves, this is about 30 feet in width. So what we came up with as an idea, and again, this is Diane Madden, you know, off the cuff brainstorming, and she said what we could do to help the feral cat population, which even back then in 2018 was very problematic. In fact, there was many cats right back here that I could tell people were feeding, and hopefully, you know, spay neutering too. But the point is that Councilman D'Esposito's district also was experiencing, you know, a lot of explosion in the cat population. So we talked about having a satellite location here with a trailer, like a mobile unit, just similar to the one that the shelter has, and also a recovery area over here. And we talked about how we would need some fencing. We could probably get volunteer vet techs. But even if not, you know, they seemed very optimistic about the town's ability to do this. And in fact, this was going to be something that we believed could easily be replicated after the first time in all the districts. So imagine that, if there was a satellite location in every district for TNR. I mean, what a difference that would have made, right, guys? So, okay, fine. We leave this meeting, and then we're told that they needed some assistance. So what we did was we drew up, and I'm telling you guys, this took a lot of time. Okay, I've never drawn up a proposal for a mobile spay neuter unit, but I did a lot of homework. I gave them the specs that are required within, you know, these units. And I want to be clear also, the thought was brought up, why don't they just take the spay neuter, the mobile spay neuter unit already at the shelter and just put it over in the Oceanside Park? And Diane said, no, I don't want to take away something that we already have. We want to add to what we have, which makes all the sense in the world. So we come up with this proposal. Through research, of course, I found out that quite a few items, both inside the mobile unit as well as the mobile unit itself, you can save a lot of money if you purchase these items used, you know, like a surgical table, you know, things that go inside, you know, the recovery crates, things like that. and the unit itself. So all told, we were looking at about $100,000. Okay. Now, we had many meetings after this meeting at the Oceanside Park. Many, I'm talking, let's say between 5 and 10 meetings following the May 26th meeting. Okay. Myself and Diane went to Oceanside Park. We met with Commissioner Marino, who told us, because Diane was saying that she believes there's grant money available to assist with these types of programs. And Commissioner Marino said, yeah, well, we can apply for the grant, but, we have plenty of money. There's plenty of money to do this. That was also very good. Good to hear. So now more time goes by. Diane was asked to type up job descriptions, exactly what we would need. How many people? Is it full-time, part-time? She was asked to draw up a description of the program, how many days a week, what will be the hours, like everything that we needed from a phone to, a sewer line connection. Every single piece of information they requested, we gave it to them. And we gave it to them as quickly as possible. I even had my husband, my now husband, I had his son draw up a rough draft blueprint of, a sketch with measurements. And we submitted all of this. And the timeline that we were told for this to be up and running was the fall of that year, 2018. So here's where it really just, honestly, it breaks my heart. We were told that the next step was a blueprint meeting. I followed up all the time for months and months and months. I mean, every single month I was texting Councilman D'Esposito. Every time I went to a board meeting and I saw Commissioner Marino, I asked, when's our meeting? Let's put something in the calendar. And I definitely got the impression that after hearing, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you and maybe next week. And, all of the things that lead to nothing, I definitely got the sense that we were being either stalled or, just flat out put off. I don't know why. I still don't know why. But it just kills me because you know what, guys, as you know, throughout COVID, the town of Hempstead has basically shut down their TNR program completely. And I just can't help but keep thinking about how helpful and how incredible this satellite location could have been. It could have been something really special, and it could have helped a ton of animals. And as you guys know, it could have also probably helped, us in terms of being animal lovers, just having some peace of mind, knowing that there was a place to go where taxpayers, would be able to take advantage of their taxpayer funded program for TNR. So, okay, so what happened? I'm told that this grant was applied for. The town employs a grant writer. His name is Mr. Richard Ramos. And I followed up with him and he would say, yeah, I've submitted it. I'm waiting to hear back. So finally, this is like a full-blown year and a half going by of just, no more meetings, right? And I didn't understand why we were waiting on the grant because, again, we were told that the town had plenty of money. And I know that's true. I mean, honestly, $100,000 to the town of Hempstead is like $1. They have like a $500 million budget. So now, Mr. Ramos keeps telling me he submitted this grant. So finally, I decided to email him after we spoke on the phone, and he told me, that he was going to get me a copy of the grant application, which I really wanted just for my own edification. I have never read a grant application before, so I just wanted to see, like, how is it? How long is it? How difficult is it? Whatever. So here's the deal. This is, check it out, top right. This is February 18th. I followed up again. This is after a couple of other emails. And this is before, by the way, the world shut down because of COVID. So here's the response from Mr. Ramos. I'm terribly sorry for my delay. I've been meaning to respond. The amount, here's the dollar amount he applied for, $75,000. He applied to, and this is important, the Department of Agriculture and Markets. He said he would expect to hear from them by April 15th, okay? And that they're also planning to release again another grant opportunity and that he would apply again. Okay, so then I wrote thank you, etc. Now, I want to be clear on this too. I waited and waited and waited and foiled the TNR grant application after the deadline was due for the Department of Agriculture and Markets to get back to them. Well, finally, I get back a foil from the town, and this just really pisses me off, I have to tell you. I get back this foil. Sorry, wrong one. Nope, wrong one again. Where is it? Oh, no, hold on. Nope, nope, oh, no, 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 what'd I do? Give me 1 second, guys, sorry. 3715. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. Okay, here is the grant application. I want you guys to look here. Bottom right, submitted January 21st, 2020. So far, it looks good. Maybe they thought I was only going to read the first page. I don't know. I started reading it and I realized that this grant application has nothing to do with a TNR unit. It has nothing to do with a spay neuter mobile unit. It has nothing to do with our project. In fact, if you look at this, this is for a gable awning and retractable awning for the shelter. Now, here's the fun part. Here's a rejection letter. Look at the date. This is what they sent me. They sent me a rejection letter from February of 2018 for a project that I had nothing to do with. And yet, oh, by the way, the cover page in terms of applying for this grant was January 21st, 2020. How does that happen? I mean, I'm sorry. I know bullshit when I see it, and this is bullshit. And now I go back to the town and I say to them, this is not what I asked for. This is all in emails. If you want to see these emails, I'm happy to forward them to you. You can just let me know. But I go back to the town and I'm like, I asked you for the copy of the grant application for the mobile spay neuter unit that was supposed to be applied for, and it was supposed to go to Oceanside Park. Now, what do I get back in response? Oh, we're looking for it. Oh, Mr. Ramos, the guy in charge, is on vacation. He should be back on Monday. So now I see that in my gut, I believe that they never applied for this grant, right? I mean, isn't that what you would think? So instead of them waiting, instead of me waiting for them to go through their storage units, which I don't even know what those look like, although I have an idea. Here, you want to laugh? This is my vision. This is what I envision when I think of the Town of Hempstead storage area. Here you go, top right. Anybody remember this scene? It's from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I gotta laugh. I mean, there's just certain things that are you just gotta laugh at. I mean, look at all this, right? If my grant application really existed, I think it would be somewhere over here. That's what I think. I just feel like that's a good area for grant applications. Okay, let's move on. So all of a sudden, I realized that in this email, he wrote that he applied to the Department of Agriculture and Markets. And guess what, guys? I'm learning as I go too. And what I realized, it kind of slapped me in the face, is that this department is a New York State government entity, which means you can foil through them as well. So that's what I did because I knew I was never going to get a copy of this grant application. And lo and behold, I got back not only a response, but I will say a quick response, which is refreshing because the town of Hempstead, I'm still waiting. I'm 6 months now waiting for a simple policy. Anyway, that's another story. That's another Zoom call. Here we go. This is dated December 15th, 2020. And it says, bottom line, after conducting a diligent search, the department is unable to locate records responsive to your request. In other words, and I have another email from the gentleman who responded to me, and he said, not only do we not have an application for that time frame for what you're asking for, but there's nothing pending from the town of Hempstead. Bottom line. So, look, that's 2.5 years, I would say. I mean, I can't even really gauge how many hours, how many man hours that we put into this. But the sad part about it is that, you know, Diane and I did this with good faith. We really wanted to work together with somebody from the town to create something positive and helpful for these innocent animals. And it kills me that this is what it feels like. It feels like all of these people who strung us along and who went to these meetings and who put us off and told us, oh yeah, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that, we're waiting for the blueprints and the grant application. You know, it feels like they laugh at us behind closed doors. I would not be surprised in the least if they had a good old hearty belly laugh over how much hope we had in terms of getting this project accomplished. And you know, it's just sad. It is so sad because the animals are the ones that are suffering, and there's nothing funny about that. I hope, this is all I've got left, guys. I hope that one day this project will come to fruition. And Diane Madden, I thank you from the bottom of my heart because, you know, this is your idea. This was your brainchild, so to speak. And I just can't stand the fact that we've got nothing to show for all of those hours of research and hours of, you know, conversation and brainstorming and problem solving. And just the optimism that we had. I mean, we were truly believing that this was going to happen. So what do? Right? I mean, I get upset over this. And I'll tell you something, Barry, you know, my now husband, he's furious. He cannot believe that people would do this to us. I mean, why? What does anyone get out of it? In the long run, what do we get out of this? Anyway, here's what we can do. And this is what I'm asking you guys for, okay? We need you to not only pay attention to these issues, but get ready and invite other people to our page. Right now, we're on Facebook, Voters for Voiceless. We're on Twitter and Instagram, Voters for Voiceless. And get ready to vote because you know what? I believe very strongly that we did flip seats in the past. We have flipped seats in the past and we will do it again. We have to flip seats until we get compassionate, humane, and decent people into office with integrity. We need people who will actually deliver on what they say they're going to do. And we need people who will not treat us like this. For the sake of the animals, you know, forget party lines. We've got to get good, honest, compassionate people into office. So invite 5 people to this page, educate others on what's been going on, talk to people about your experiences and what a disgrace this town of Hempstead has been for the voiceless. I mean, they can't even get it right on their website. Here, let me just show you something really quick because this to me is just another example of how if you can't get the little things right, how on earth are you going to get the big things right? Animal shelter. The TNR program that was outsourced to Central Vet and Associates has been closed for about a month already. They're not even updating the website. They're still, and we've pointed it out to them, by the way, they are still misdirecting everybody who comes to this website to Central Vet. And if you go on to Central Vet's website, you'll see that for about a month, they've been saying that their TNR program for the town of Hempstead is closed indefinitely until further notice. Does anyone care about the animals? Does anybody give a shit? I'm talking about at the town. I know you guys do. That's about it. So look, you know, again, I apologize. I mean, I really wanted this to happen for the animals. I really wanted this to be, can you imagine, by the way, if this did exist, what a rock star Councilman Diaz-Esposito would look like right now? I mean, we would all be singing his praises. We would all be thanking him profusely for getting this going and being a resource to the people, the animals, and the taxpayers. Instead, you know, we have an absolute disaster. That's what's happening right now in the town of Hempstead regarding the animals. All right, guys, invite people to this page. Let's get really compassionate people, good people, wholehearted people that are going to do good things for the animals. I know I keep saying it, but that's what this is about. That is what this is about. The politicians have all the power. They can help the animals. They choose not to. Has to end. Everybody have a great day.